Democratic State Senator Beverly Powell of Fort Worth. Thank you so much for joining us. You have come out this weekend strongly rejecting the proposed map for your Senate district for the next 10 years. Talk to me a little bit about why you were so upset about this proposal.
Well, good morning, Jack. And as we said in our release over the weekend, this is a clear, intentional attempt to dismantle Senate District 10, to disenfranchise the minority voters of Tarrant County, both actually all of the minority populations, the African American, Hispanic, and Asian populations. It's clear that that's the intent of this map. Let me just take a second. I have a copy of the map right here to show you where they have cracked areas of the district that are minority in representation completely out of Senate District 10. Those areas are circled here for you. Here, right in here in the center, and then down here in the eastern area of the district. They have then cleaved the remainder of the district into both Johnson County and Parker counties, which are predominantly Anglo-Americans, which will completely disenfranchise the voters across Tarrant County who are represented in our minority districts.
So is this just a case of Republicans trying to get another district for themselves?
Well, I think that is really clear by how they have redrawn this map. If you look back 10 years, the federal courts have already made it very clear that it was an intentional attempt to disenfranchise those African American, Hispanic, and Asian populations during the time that they redrew the map for Wendy Davis. So it's clear that they actually said that it was discriminatory in its intent and its effect. And this is no less a discriminatory redrawing of the Senate District 10 map.
How surprised were you when you first saw it?
I expected that there would be some version of this map that would attempt to discriminate and disenfranchise our voters. So I won't say that I was terribly surprised by it, but I was surprised at the extent to which they have drawn our minority voters out of the district.
And where are they? What district are they going to be in now? Are they going to be in Senator West's district from Dallas? Are they going to be in Senator Hancock's district?
They are going to be in Senator Hancock's district. And so it's clear that our minority populations in Tarrant County will once again be discriminated against having their voices heard at the ballot box.
And have you had a chance to discuss with your Senate colleagues, either from Tarrant County or wherever, about this proposal? Senator Huffman is the chair of the redistricting committee, as you know.
We've had some isolated conversations with a few of my colleagues in the Democratic Senate caucus, but we have not had a meeting to discuss the overall impact of the changes in the map. I'm assuming that as we start our session, our redistricting session today at 10 o'clock, that we will shortly be having some of those conversations.
Another highly anticipated maps, of course, are in the State House. Haven't seen those just yet. And the congressional maps, haven't seen those yet either. I'm wondering, I know Texas is going to be receiving 2 new congressional seats. And do you think one of those seats should be in North Texas?
Absolutely, I do. If you take a look at the growth in North Texas, certainly we deserve to have that congressional seat, and certainly we deserve to have a seat in which our minority voices can be heard. You can take a look at the growth in Senate District 10 since the last census, And that growth has been predominantly in the Hispanic population, in the African American population. And in fact, the Anglo population has decreased in size. So I hope that when we see those maps, we're going to see that we've been allowed the opportunity for those voices to be heard.
And when you say the Anglo population has decreased, you're talking about percentage of the population?
Right, right.
Okay. And so let me ask you about other agenda items on the call. Federal COVID money. How do you think these federal COVID relief dollars should be spent?
Well, certainly, I think we've got to spend a portion of those dollars to further shore up instruction for our students. It's clear, and I don't call it learning loss, I call it learning delayed. But whatever you call the difficulty that our children, our students are experiencing with the COVID crisis, we've got to develop strategies in terms of tutoring, in terms of extended school days and wraparound services, mental and social health attention that helps our students with the tools that they need to make up the learning that has been set aside during the COVID crisis. Then I think it's really clear that we need to continue to develop strategies that will help us with future pandemics. Even when we do get COVID under control, it's clear that there will be other variations of viruses like this. We need to have strategies in place to be able to address that and to not let under our watch in the future a pandemic like this to soar completely out of control.
And transgender student athletes, that measure is on the call as well. Where are you on that issue?
Well, certainly, I support our transgender students in their attempt to be able to live their lives as they see fit. Session after session after session, we continue to see these culture war issues. It's time for that to stop. This is a problem, a solution in search of a problem. We don't have a high incidence of these cases in the state of Texas. Let's leave transgender children alone. Let's make sure that we set a stage for them to have healthy, meaningful lives, and that we give them the support that they need in their quest to live their most honest, and productive lives.
Two other questions for you, Senator, and I appreciate your time. And that is, a second poll has come out, this one over the weekend, showing soft numbers, approval ratings for Governor Abbott in the 40s, much lower than he has been in the past. And I'm wondering, to what do you attribute that?
Well, I think the proof is in the pudding. We've been through a lot in the state of Texas over the course of this last 2 years. People have suffered mightily. They've lost family members, friends, grandparents, and our handling of this COVID crisis has not been stellar. There's so many things that we could have done, that we should have done to protect children. We are seeing now the populations in our children's hospitals soaring out of control. In Tarrant County, where I serve, Cook Children's Hospital last week announced that they were going to be suspending any kind of elective surgeries for children. That's appalling for us to think about. Our hospitals being packed to brimming, our healthcare workers are overwrought, overworked, and it's just a mess. Our infection rates in the state of Texas are one of the 2 highest in the nation. And it is time for us to make decisions that pull those things into control.
And then my last question to you, there was a report by Axios over the weekend that says Beto ORourke is preparing to run for governor. What's your reaction to that?
You know, I'm excited for anyone to get in the race on this side of the aisle. It's time for us to have a role in statewide leadership, and I'm looking forward to a robust election cycle.
Why do you think it has taken so long for a Democrat, a major Democrat, to enter the race for governor?
Well, I think we're just doing our homework. I think that to say that it has taken so long is kind of a misstatement. This is an important decision. You have to know that you're entering a race prepared to win it, that you've raised the funds necessary and that you have the capability to do that. And so I think that the candidates are being very prudent in their consideration of whether or not to run.
All right, State Senator Beverly Powell, Democrat of Fort Worth, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jack. It's been my pleasure as always.